Eagle fans, and welcome to the Week 7 Coaches Show here at Ouachita Christian School. I'm with head coach Stephen Fitzhugh. I'm Daniel Kirkendall, and we're going to talk about the game last week and kind of preview our Week 7 matchup against Beekman Charter. And Coach, start off kind of like we have been the last few weeks, 6-0. I mean, you know, it was a good win. Good win against the Delhi Charter Gators, and moved to, what are we now, 2-0? Let's see.
3-0
in district. Moved to 3-0 in district, and so you know, it was a good game, I thought. You know, the first thing I want to talk about when I kind of look over the numbers, looked at the game numbers, the season numbers. Man, our offensive line looks good, Coach. It's good to see these guys growing up.
They have. That's been, again, that was the question mark coming into our season. Biggest question mark, no doubt. And those guys knew that, and you know, they've taken it seriously. Mike Mosier, being the senior up there, is you know, been the leader of those guys, and then you know, our juniors, Tate Kitchens and Hunter Canal and Hudson Weems, have all stepped in and done a great job, and then our sophomores, John Grady Godness and Adler Edwards. Those guys have really taken it upon themselves to do the extra, and you know, knowing that they were the question mark coming in, they wanted to make sure that they were not the weak spot of the team, and they're not. They have grown up. They've been a solid group. I think they just continue to get better each and every week, get a better understanding of things. Coach Sanford, Coach Mosier does a great job with those guys. And so, again, it's been great to see them grow up each and every week like they have. And they don't get enough credit for what they do, but like I say, they're here early in the morning, working out together, watching film together, just, again, trying to get better each and every week, and they've been a solid point of our offense.
Well, you know, I'm on the radio, and it's kind of hard to say their names on the radio a lot, and I feel bad about that. I really do, because they're great kids, great football players, but up there, you know, there's so much that happens in the trenches. It's hard to point it out. So I do want to tell you what they've allowed our offense to do this year. Tell the people at home. 5 sacks. That's less than 1 sack a game. So 5 sacks, only 1 additional tackle for loss. So that offensive line has protected
That's awesome.
Our quarterback, opened the lanes for our running backs, to the tune. Our starting offensive line has paved the way for 32 total touchdowns, 18 passing touchdowns, and 14 rushing touchdowns. That's more than 5 touchdowns a game, you know, for our starters, and over 300 yards, you know, over 300 yards a game. So, yeah, I think with our starters in there, I kind of looked at it, but I think a lot of times you'll leave those guys in there, even when you put some of your JV players, you'll leave a couple of them in there.
Yeah, at times, yeah.
Yeah, so they're averaging over 50 points a game. So what they've done for our offense and just kind of opened the way, Luke looks really good, Jude looks really good, our receivers look really good, tight end, everything looks good, but it all comes back to the center.
It all starts with those guys up front, because if you don't have a good offensive line, it is obvious.
Yeah.
And again, those guys, they have done a great job of you know, pass protection, run blocking. Again, when you say just 1, you know, tackle for loss, that's huge.
Yeah, it's big time, and you know, Luke's operated very efficiently, over 72% completion percentage on the year, 18 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. I thought the other night, last Thursday against Delhi Charter, his arm looked as live as I've ever seen it. He only 2 incompletions.
Yeah, 10 to 12 is a great night.
Yeah.
So he's done outstanding this year.
Averaging 3 touchdowns a game, and Turpin has the most catches. He has 9 touchdowns on the season, 75 yards a game, and over 20 yards per catch. So you know that you can always go to the well with Turpin. He can play at almost any position on the field. And then Jude the other night, you know, had another good night. But on the season, he has 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 2 touchdowns. And so when we look at this offense, these numbers really do jump off the page. And a lot of people will say, you know, it's the strength of our opponent. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it has been a good experience builder for the offense as a whole, especially for our offensive line. And you know,
no doubt.
And we've seen that. On the other side of the ball, defense, Cooper Thomas, Landon Waller both had 10. They had 9 tackles last week, I believe, and Desai had 8. But on the season, those three guys have 29 tackles for loss on the season. So we look at what we're doing on offense, then you flip it over there.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, to get someone behind the sticks like that, where it may change up their play calling and things such as that. That's big to get those tackles for loss.
Yeah, no question about it. We've got 64 together. You know, as a whole defense, we have 64 on the season, over 10 tackles for loss each game, which is you know, crazy to think.
That's big.
Yeah,
that's real big.
And because of those tackles for loss, and this is what I did this week, Coach. You know, I just want to kind of look through the season and kind of see where we are at week 7. You know, going into week 7. 784 gross rushing yards, but only 386 net rushing yards for opposing teams. Okay, which means that our tackles for loss account to more yards than you know, more than half of the yards that they've gained.
Yes. Wow.
So almost 400 yards that they've lost from those 64 tackles for loss. 185. I mean, 60 yards passing a game, 60 yards rushing a game. I mean, our defense has been phenomenal, and I mentioned those three guys just because they kind of pop out on the stat sheet. Traxler had another game the other night. Our defense has been playing, you know, really good this year. 49-6 against Delhi Charter. That late touchdown that they scored in the fourth quarter. But other than that, I mean, our defense
they've been playing solid. Our starters, you know, I guess that's 5 games in a row that our starters have held the opponents out of the end zone. And so, you know, that's a positive, you know, bend but don't break. And, again, keep them from scoring. And so we had a lot of new guys on defense this year, and they're getting a good feel, understanding of things. And again, we're still studying film. Still making plenty of mistakes that we need to correct that don't always show up in a lopsided win, but they'll show up in the tight ball games. And so, you know, it comes down to the fundamentals of the game, tackling. You know, we still need to improve our tackling, and then creating turnovers. Those are things that, you know, always are big deciding factors in ball games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Delhi Charter, they didn't really throw the ball very much, so they you know, secured the ball. You know, we didn't force any turnovers against them. And so, you know, when we see teams that are going to throw the ball more, I imagine we'll have more opportunities for those takeaways. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is you talk about, you know, correcting mistakes and fixing things, but at the same time, you guys as a coaching staff, this is your 28th year, you know, so you've been around the block a couple times. 270th win, congratulations, by the way, against Delhi Charter. So 270 and 82 on the season. But you as a you and your coaching staff are not complacent. You guys are making adjustments, adapting, kind of evolving, you know, what you do from week to week. It's not just the same thing and saying, hey, this is the recipe and this is how we have to do it each time. So last week you came out and on defense, I saw you had a 4-man front more than you had previously. So you guys are making changes, and a lot of different. You mentioned different guys on defense this season. We saw some different guys on defense this past week.
Yes.
That hadn't played this
I mean,
year.
and you do. You always have to be prepared. Again, not just for that week, but what's coming down the road. Teams that you may see, and you have to be just like offensively. You have multiple formations. Same thing defensively. Be able to have multiple fronts. It may be a 3-man, 4-man, it may be a 5-man front, and so to give different looks to opposing offenses so that they have more to prepare for as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, it's a win-win for you guys to be able to do that. Well, Coach, you know, moved to 6-0, and I think that's it for a recap on Delhi Charter. We're going to take a short break. I do want to thank McDonald's, and we'll come back after that and look forward to this week's matchup against the Beekman Charter Tigers. So stay tuned as we go to a word from our sponsor.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
Welcome back. We're here to look forward to the Thursday matchup against the Beekman Charter Tigers. Last year we played at Beekman. We won the game 47-0, Coach. I do want to say it was 40-0 at halftime. And, it was a good win. It's a district game, always a good win. But we did not meet a ton of resistance last year. As a matter of fact, it was kind of a breakout game for Jude Turner. Had 12 carries for just under 150 yards and 4 touchdowns. So a huge game for Jude. But everything that I've heard and everything that I've seen, I talked to one of your assistant coaches yesterday who said that this isn't the same team that we played last year. So tell us about this
Beekman
team.
has an outstanding football team. We went and watched them in the Jamboree, so we saw them in person, and it's very easy to see that they have hit the weight room. I mean, they passed the eye test at every position: offensive line, defensive line, backs, receivers, linebackers. I mean, they have a very good-looking ball club of guys that you can tell they've been in the weight room. And the weight room is what, regardless of what sport it is, that's what makes an athlete tough. And, when you pay the price in the weight room, you're going to fight harder on the field. And that obviously shows with the way Beekman has played. They're, started off with 2 wins, and they, lost their first district loss there to Mangum. It was really a deceptive score in the sense that Beekman got the ball and drove it for 6 minutes, went down and scored, and then Mangum scored quickly. Mangum kicked off, Beekman fumbled the kickoff. Mangum scored, Mangum kicked off, Beekman fumbled the kickoff, and Mangum scored again. So it was 21-6, and Beekman had only had the ball one time, and then their quarterback got banged up after that, and kind of caused their offense to sputter a little bit. He's back healthy and well now. Eli Owens is their quarterback, just a tough, hard-nosed competitor. But they have a lot of juniors and seniors on their team that they're a team that wants to get things turned around, and they're doing that by the way that they play this year. It's obvious to see. And so much tougher Beekman team. And again, in every sense, the way that they compete on the field, the way that they actually look as players, they run great scheme. That offensively they're running with the old dragon wing, and they're executing it well. And so it fits their system and what they want to do. And again, they've executed it well this year. So it's going to be a big test for us on Thursday night.
Yeah, well, they sit at 2-3 right now. Like you mentioned, won the first 2 games of the year and then lost the following 3 games up until last week. They had a bye week in week 2, a cancellation, so they didn't get to play in week 2. But then they are 0-3 in District 2A now.
That's with
that's
Mangum,
right.
Faraday, and Oak Grove. Which all of those teams, if they have any losses, it's only 1 loss.
Mm-hmm.
I think all 3 of those teams, Verdi, I think all of those teams just have 1 loss. They're all 5-1 on the season. And so the teams they've lost to are no slouch.
No, not at all. And close game with Faraday that they had. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know if anybody tuned into Faraday's game last week, but their offense is something else. They can score real quick, and we've got them in a couple weeks at home. So they sit at 0-3, 2-3 on the season. And you mentioned the weight room. Joseph Purvis, this is his 4th year as head coach, and I assume Coach Purvis, but that gives you a cycle of kids when you're there for 4 years. Mm-hmm. You get them as freshmen, you get to push them on through. So it looks like that this program is improving, and should be a good game. Should be a good game on Thursday night. You mentioned the Dragon Wing. I know David Gordy's going to love that terminology. He's going to say it a lot because that's probably the type of offense that would have recruited him out of high school. So if you don't mind, just kind of give us a rundown on what that's going to look like. What do they do out of this Dragon Wing?
Well, a lot of deception. The quarterback will take the ball and he will spin sometimes in a complete circle. And they will have guys going every direction, behind the quarterback and in front of the quarterback. And he's liable to give it to one, fake it to the other, or vice versa. And then they'll lull you to sleep with all that movement and hit the big pass play if your DBs are not being disciplined, reading their keys. And so, again, very, very schematic, deceptive offense in the sense of each person is going to have to play their gap. They can't get caught up watching where all the movement is, because there's a lot of movement in this offense.
Yeah, and that's the way it's created. So you're probably preaching discipline to your defense. Stay at home, hold your assignment, and those types of things. Well, it should be a good game Thursday night. It's kind of an interesting week with no school right now. We're on fall break and kind of a vacation. And what have you done to the schedule this week?
Yeah, not a whole lot different. I mean, we come up here at 2:00 and hit the weight room and then practiced. And so we're doing our normal routine that we always do. And so they just don't have to go home and do homework, so that's always a bonus.
I bet they're all right with that. Back-to-back Thursday games kind of let you get on schedule for this week, especially with no school. Then you'll get the additional week for the week. The additional day for the week after. Well, Coach, I think that's all we have for this week. Looking forward to this matchup on Thursday night. We'll get together next week and talk it over, and then look forward to traveling to Mangum the week after that. So if you're in town, you're in fall break, would love to have you come out Thursday night. Eagle Stadium, Fitzhugh Field, as the Eagles take on the Beekman Charter Tigers. I'm Daniel Kirkendall, again here with head coach Stephen Fitzhugh. Thanks for watching.